Top Secret!
泰国战队正在向我们走来，作为亚洲赛区的头号黑马，期待再度看到他们逆袭的表现。
Team CC!
现在出场的是本次 TSL 中国赛区的冠军队伍 Team CC。今晚他们能否继续卫冕冠军荣耀，在国际舞台上留下更多的传奇瞬间呢？让我们拭目以待。 好的，让我们预祝所有的选手都能够发挥出他们最好的水平，为我们带来一场场精彩的比赛。接下来，把时间交给解说台。
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rules of Survival World Championship Grand Final here in Shanghai, China. This is obviously produced by hosted by NetEase Games, or co-organized by the Pan Asia Youth Esports Association and organized by Mars Media. Now, my name is Munchballs. I'm going to be joined by Ex-Scoundrel. We've flown halfway across the world to be here to watch the best teams in the world compete in Rules of Survival.
I'm really excited about this. For those of you that guys know me at home, I'm a big Rules of Survival fan. I do a lot of Rules of Survival YouTube content. I am thoroughly excited. There's a lot of players here that I know personally as well, especially from the Western side of things. This is going to be insane. 9 Chinese teams, 6 teams from the rest of the world, 2 from Southeast Asia, 2 from Europe, and 2 from North America. Lots of action to go down.
Yeah, 15 teams here total now, but at the start of this tournament, there was over 150,000 teams played in the qualifiers. Obviously,
that's a bloody lot of teams.
Yeah, that's a lot of teams. The qualifiers were open; anyone could enter, but 150,000 teams is an insane number. 66 different countries got involved in the tournament. Obviously, we are now down to what, 7 countries, I believe, something like that. Or actually, I think a couple of the EU teams have multiple countries mixed in there.
Yeah,
so maybe 10 or 12 countries total. But from 4 regions, we had China, APAC, the Americas and Europe entering into the tournament, and all 4 of those regions represented here, as you said before, 2 from any of the regions and then 9 from China. So definitely a wide host of teams coming on in, and it should be quite an interesting competition because, you know, we've got first seeds from multiple regions, but the question is how strong are each of the regions?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting to note is when you're looking at the stats of these teams, I'm not going to go into it too much now. China are really, really good at this game. China are very, very good at this game. So the Western teams have got their work cut out for them if they want to get anywhere near that top standing. And speaking of that top standing, there's a lot of money on the line here.
Yeah, I want to go into the stats just a tiny little bit. We'll go more in a little bit, but just to give you guys an idea, when it comes to like average damage done in a game, in the West, the highest is around 500.
Yeah.
The top player in this entire tournament, and I will say he's ahead of basically everyone else in the tournament, almost has 2,000 average damage per game, which is a pretty insane statistics. So there are some players that I fully expect to just completely pop off.
If any of you guys play solo queue or play in squads at home, you know it's not uncommon to come away with something like 17 to 20 kills in Rules of Survival if you're very good. In this level of play, though, everyone is very good. So you're not kind of crushing people who aren't that good at the game. The highest kills per average game is that member of the Chinese team OG that you talked about, Ocean Gaming. 6.1 kills a game at this level of play, 1,850 damage dealt per game.
And that's on average.
That's on average.
That's like basically no bad games ever.
Yeah, pretty much. There's lots of stats that we can go into about these teams, but what's on the line here at the Rules of Survival World Championships?
Yeah, well, the top prize is $120,000 US. That is a pretty high prize.
Between four of you as well.
That's $30,000 each. So these guys, I know the American guys who we're talking to, especially the Vainglory veterans, we obviously come from Vainglory ourselves, so we know those guys pretty well. We're talking to them, and you know, flying halfway across the world or in fact the whole way across the world if you're in America, all to try and fight out for $120,000, and that's just the top prize as well. There's, I think, 80,000 is the second prize,
yeah,
and so on and so forth.
I'll look at it in a second. We've got a booklet we can kind of go through and get all the details, but there's a lot of money on the line here at the Rules of Survival World Championships. Now, for those of you that are wondering, in the rest of the world. In the rest of the world, there's obviously going to be Rules of Survival. This is Rules of Survival across the rest of the world. In China, this is called Terminator 2. So
yes,
you'll notice that there might be some more Terminator-like branding going on here. We were playing on the Chinese version, so...
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be able to take a look at the schedule in just a moment. But as you rightly said, the branding that you'll see is TSL, which stands for Terminator 2 International Super League. But here we go. This is our schedule for the day. The Grand Finals is going to consist of 5 matches. So they'll be played over the next couple of hours, the next 3 or 4 hours coming on through. And this is obviously Rules of Survival World Championship. And
yeah,
you get points based on kills and survival during this.
Yeah, so across these 5 rounds, the winning team will take 250 points away, and it goes down from there, all the way down to, I believe, 15 or something for last place. You get 10 points per kill on your team as well, so if you get a high kill score, but you're not actually stacking up to the top every time, you still got a good shot to get in with the points. This is not based on how many matches you win. This is based on your overall point score at the end of the day. At the end of the day. It's
theoretically possible that we could have a winner who takes the entire day without actually winning a match individually, because of the fact that kill score comes into play, and because it's a matter of being consistent across the entire tournament. It's not just putting up one massive score and reaching the top of the table. It's about being able to get that top 10, get that top 5 each and every single game. And you know, there are 15 teams here. That's a lot of players in total. We're going to be having 60 players on the map. So when we see people dropping, especially in the busier areas, teams could get knocked out very, very quickly.
I've talked to some teams about their strategies. I know that at least one of the teams from the western side of the hemisphere are going to be taking some high-risk strategies going into this. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they perform. So if you guys at home are wondering which teams are from the West, I know this is an English broadcast. You're likely going to be kind of following the Western teams as well as we're trying to cover as much as we can from those guys. The 2 teams from North America are Vainglory veterans, which, as the name suggests, are all ex or current Vainglory professional players. Just so happen to qualify for this as well, so they've done really well. There is also Team Secret, which was picked up for this event. They're also a North American team that qualified. In Europe, we've got 2 extra teams.
Yeah, so we've got Rampage, who is mostly Russian with a little bit of Ukrainian mixed in there. They're coming in from Europe. They were the first seed from Europe, and then the second seed from Europe was Bad Squad, which I believe is an all-German team coming on in. They were looking strong as well. You can see them strutting their stuff on stage earlier. Definitely looking confident.
Bad Squad has the member, I'm just going to double-check the name here, Rabin. He has got the highest damage dealt on average of any Western player here. That is still only 550, which is a third of, or just less than a third of that Chinese player from OG that we were talking about, but it is the best performing player from EU and the West specifically. The second is a guy called T-Tigers on Vainglory Veterans.
Or T-Tigs.
T-Tigs on this. He dealt 400 and something damage, so he's up there as the sort of second best player coming into this.
Sort of right behind the other scoreline. But just to introduce the other 2 teams that aren't Chinese, they're not going to be from the West. These are from APAC region. We've got Philippines. Kinder Mines are going to be coming in representing their region, representing the Philippines. And then we have Xavier Top Secret as well from Thailand. So they're going to be looking to put their flag above the rest here in the tournament.
And I've been talking to the Xavier Top Secret coach quite a lot, and he is really confident behind his team. He thinks his team's got a really good shot at taking this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should be able to take a look at the team information in a couple of moments so we can introduce the players in a little bit more detail and kind of show you guys what to expect across the course of today. So we'll run through. This is one of our Chinese teams, WEDG, and you can see, I want you all to have a look at the roles that you can see here. Observer, Observer, Sniper, Charger coming on in. But they all change between the different teams.
Yeah, nothing special in terms of damage dealt here, just a very solid team. Every single member performs. Moving on to Vainglory veterans. These are all ex-Vainglory players. Flash X plays for TSM. Chuck used to play for TSM. Hambone actually replaced Iraqi Zorro. He's called Hammy in the Vainglory scene. And Tiggs is T-Tigers. They are a very good team coming from the North American scene.
Yeah, I mean, Tiggs currently world champion on Vainglory, looking to turn it into 2 world championships in separate mobile games. Let's take a look at MY, though. MY, or Sleepwalking, is the kind of translation of their name. Charger, Commander, Charger, I think it was Sniper.
Yeah, you'd notice that these positions are very similar for the Chinese teams. You don't often see that from the Western teams. You can see here Team Secret, they qualified for the North American scene as well. And you can see the roles for these guys are a bit different to the roles in the Chinese teams. Chinese teams have got set roles for their rules of survival squads. They have their set tactics. We don't see that from the Western teams. It's been really interesting to see how they stack up in-game.
Yeah, the Western teams definitely feel more like sort of mixed teams, as it were. They're definitely going to be changing up strategies depending on the situation. We'll see how that's going to pan out, though, and whether the Chinese teams are going to be as organized as it looks right here. Sniper, Sniper, Commander, Charger coming through from Car. So, I mean, Car, or Auto Master Club is the translation of their name. They're going to be looking good coming on in as well. But the next team is going to be SLG, another one of our Chinese teams there.
SLG actually has the SLG2, as you can see on your screen there. He actually has the second most average damage dealt of any member of the Chinese players, coming in at 1,500. So even just as an observer, he's really hitting hard in games.
Yeah, and that's one of the most important points. If you're playing a role like support, like observer, it's not just about being able to spot people, it's tagging them out so your fraggers can take them. Let's take a look at Rampage, though. This is the team coming out from Europe, Russia and the Ukraine and similar. It's going to be Waldemar, a player from Vainglory himself, but we actually sat in a taxi with Imagretti on the way back from the airport to the hotel, and he was actually feeling pretty confident coming on in. He's definitely a player that going to be watching out for here.
The #1 European team as well, Rampage, coming from the Russian side of Europe. Here's SDZ, and you can see here, just again, very similar roles coming through the Chinese teams. And what really speaks to me is that they probably have set strategies when it comes to implementing their team fights and the way that they interact with each other in game.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the positioning is going to look like once we get on into the game. Here's RW98 coming on through, and again, similar roles coming out for these guys. I am curious to see, out of the 9 Chinese teams, where each of those rank, because obviously coming on into the tournament, you have to wonder how organized these squads are going to be. Is Seed 9 from China going to be as organized as Seed 1?
Loot Addicts, I love that name coming in from Bad Squad. And you can see
that's a role.
That's a role here. Last man standing as well coming in. Raban, the one that is the highest Western damage dealer out of any Western squad at all. So Bad Squad coming through. They are the German team, the 2nd seed from Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to see what these European teams can bring to the table, being European ourselves.
This is the team, and it is actually going to be OG4, the Sniper. He is the guy that deals the single most average damage with the single highest kills per game.
You can see it in his eyes.
Out of any player here in the tournament. This is the team I think you're going to have to keep an eye on as well, and they've got heavy sort of setup for him, it seems like, when it comes to the games.
Yeah, watch that name, OG4, once we get on into the game. Kindermine, sorry, going to be coming on in from the Philippines here. Very similar setup to what we've been seeing from the Chinese teams in terms of the roles. I'm curious to see how they're going to shape up and how they're going to match up to the teams from the other regions.
Gbit has got a very high damage dealt for a Western player, similar to 2 Tiggs at about 400.
Are we going to call the Philippines West?
Yeah, I suppose
non-Chinese
team, I guess, is the way I'm referring to it. This is going to be LF. And they've got some great players. Nothing crazy, no crazy stats coming up from these guys. Actually, everybody around the 400 mark, and the KDA or the kills per game very similar.
But bear in mind, this is best of 5, and you want to be consistent. So everybody being around that average mark could be a very good thing, just to be able to get those consistent results coming on through.
The Thailand team, Xavier Top Secret, again, talked to the coach. They were very confident about their performances coming in. The stats don't quite reflect that, but they have got Hams, who's got a very, very good KDA coming in. One of the highest KDAs actually from the Europeans or the Western scene. So
yeah, absolutely. Our final team going to be Team CC, again from China here. So you can see very similar roles to what we've seen, and I'm excited to see what these different Chinese teams are going to be looking